debate. Further debate. I recognize the Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I say to all of the Korean guests, Annyeonghaseyo. I am very pleased to support my good friend from Scarborough Rouge bill establishing the first month of October as Korean Heritage Month. Korean Heritage Month is, when it's enacted, is going to be a recognition of the tremendous vitality of the Korean community here in Toronto. As is said in the preamble to the bill, and I want to quote from the preamble in the bill. It says, just a second, I've got it right here. I had the French version. Anyway, the preamble in the bill recognizes, as the member for Scarborough Rouge has said, the great contribution to the economic life of this province, to the political life of this province, and to the social life of this province. The month of October is very important in the Korean culture because that's when the national holiday is celebrated and other events in that very first month of October. And I can remember I was elected in October the 4th, I believe it was, in 2003. And the very first public event that I went to was in Willowdale at Mel Lastman Square, and it was a Korean Heritage Fall celebration. And I met the then Consul General of the time, and I met many Koreans on that day. And that's 12, 13 years ago. And that is one of the great festivals that I look forward to, along with all of the other events that are held in the Korean community, whether it's events to support Korean senior citizens, whether it's events to support, as coming up this weekend, I believe, the Korean Scholarship Gala. The Korean community makes a tremendous contribution on all sectors in our society. But the real story here, I think, is in the bill. The preamble talks about the first Korean wave of immigration that came to Canada in the early 50s. And that was very hard to uproot and move to a new country. But in many ways, the real story is how that Korean community has established itself over almost 3 generations now, from the early 1950s to 2017. Now, Koreans are playing important roles in politics, as the member opposite from Scarborough Rouge River takes his seat. There are physicians, heart surgeons, lawyers, successful business persons, real estate entrepreneurs, school teachers, nurses. The Korean community has made this tremendous impact on our life here. I was very happy to visit Korea recently with the Premier. 2 things come to mind. We spent time in the modern, dynamic city of Seoul with all the traffic and the lights and the office towers and the business activity, and that was impressive. And then we went and we spent a day at Andong Traditional Village, which recognized traditional Korean cultural life the way it was lived 1,000 years ago. And I think the great contribution of the Korean community is the way they have blended the modern that life has to offer with the traditional values that the Korean community respects. So I say, Kumsahamnida, Kumsahamnida.
Thank you.